First, we at WagerTalk would like to thank everyone as a record number of you took advantage of our Thanksgiving 7-day special. We hope you enjoyed the convenience of getting your favorite handicappers plays daily during the hectic holiday weekend, and we also know that December can be a crazy month. Now we are offering a rest of calendar year special. Get every NFL, college bowl game, NBA, NHL, college basketball games, and all other sports of your favorite handicapper through December 31st for only $249. The early bird really does catch a worm for this special as it starts the day you sign up. No coupon needed. Pay only $249 today or pay $249 in a few days. The choice is simple. Let's have a great ending to 2021.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I am Lawrence Presman. He is Teddy Covers, and we got a triple pack going today. Teddy, Steve Merril, right off the bat. He's looking at Villanova versus Penn and the Minnesota Vikings Detroit Lions game. Carmine Bianco, couple of hockey games. And, of course, we're going to end with Arthur DiCesare, your big game breakdown, brother. And in the daily presidential address, I have decided I'm playing 4 NHL plays tonight for my clients. I'm giving them all out on the daily presidential address, so long as, of course, we get to 100 likes. My brother, I know you are chomping at the bit. What did we learn last night in the wonderful world of sports betting?
We have to start with this, all right? When we first started doing or talked about putting Wager Talk Today together, there was a debate. Do we want sportsbook sponsors or don't we? There was a thought, if we have sportsbook sponsors, hey, it's good for revenue. It's not a bad thing. We'll have sportsbook commercials in the middle. Understandably. We ended up making the decision not to be sponsored. We'll promote the Wager Talk brand. We'll promote the Wager Talk cappers. And we'll have representatives from different sportsbook on at different times. So that means that I can rip books with impunity because I don't have to worry about what our sponsors are going to say. What we had yesterday, coming from DraftKings CEO Jason Robbins, a guy who I met once, seemed like a nice enough guy, was something that has to be discussed at the top of the show. All right. DraftKings made it very clear, DK, that they are not interested in customers that win. Their sustainable business model is, quote, this is from Robbins, this is an entertainment activity. People who are doing this for profit are not the players we want, quote. He also said that they're not looking to acquire customers who are going to shop around for prices and bonuses, quote. There is definitely evidence that players download and trial multiple apps, but then focus on one. But the ones that don't stick around are the ones you don't want anyway. They're the bonus shoppers and bonus hunters. That's less than 10% of the audience. They are not the most profitable customers. Now, during the call, this is a call to investors. Meanwhile, during the call, the stock is ticking lower and lower as he's saying this. All right. So the markets did not react well to Robbins' comments, but it's worthy of discussion. Now, number one, does a sportsbook have a right to limit their customers? I think they do. And I may be standing alone here, but you run a business, you want to limit customers, that's your business model. So in theory, I have no problem with that, in theory. But in practice, number one, as a bettor, you're really worried about this. All right, because you don't want books saying, winning customers, we don't want them. We're going to kick them out. We're not going to cater to them. And two, all right, perhaps even more importantly than one, all right, when you're talking about a business model that requires everyone to lose, that's not really a long-term success. Now, it's not really a method for long-term profitability. So understand what he's saying. They're allowed to do what they want with their customer base. But as bettors, we're allowed to choose where we bet as well. And DraftKings yesterday, the stuff they said, the model they have, it's not very attractive to this bettor. What do you think, Prez, of the stock dropping as Jason Robbins going, yeah, we don't want the pro bet?
Yeah, I got I got so much to say about that. And yeah, the stock is down 3.18% today as well. So right off the bat, Teddy, I got no problem with what he said. So me and you, I guess, are in a different situation here. First off, it's not about I want bettors who lose. It's about when you go to a movie, you pay $15 or whatever, and you watch the movie, you don't get anything afterwards. The movie theater does not hand you a free shirt, or they don't give you free popcorn, nothing. The bottom line is 90% of people, okay, I made that number up, but it's a massively high percent of people do play at DraftKings for entertainment. And to make a $20 bet on a game and lose, you didn't lose. You provided yourself with $20 worth of entertainment. And if that is the angle or the place where DraftKings wants to sit in the market, I have no issue with that. As far as bonus guys go, I actually was the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer of a sportsbook. I have been there. I have worked for a sportsbook. I ran the entire marketing department for a sportsbook. And I can assure you, he is 100% right when it comes to the bonus whores. We didn't want him. The difference is he verbalized everything, and we didn't. The other thing is he is beholden to his investors and not to the gamblers. I have zero problem with anything DraftKings said. With all that said, we need actionable info from this segment, and I will provide you with that. I am currently a proud yet extremely disappointed holder of both DraftKings stock and Flutter's stock, which is FanDuel, and Caesars stock, and every other damn gambling stock on the planet. And my actionable info is buy DraftKings and Flutter right freaking now. These guys are taking a massive hit, especially Flutter. They were at $108 Canadian not too long ago. They're now like in the 60s. Both stocks are at a very low place in the market. The sports gambling industry is just starting to shape up. All of these companies are spending a fortune of money acquiring customers. As an ex-CMO of a sports book, I can assure you that the expense is very top heavy. Once the market starts to establish itself, the finding customers, the cost per customer will go down immensely. There is a ton of value on both stocks. I say buy. Steve Merril joining us. What do you have to say about this, Mr. Merril?
Yeah, I'm glad we're talking stocks. As you know, I do a lot with the financial markets. We'll have to get John Ryan on to weigh in on this. But look, DraftKings is a falling knife right now if you look at the charts. So it has not bottomed out, in my opinion. I do think there'll be a buying opportunity. But it was back in March of 2020, just during the COVID shutdowns, that it actually went in April from 19 to 40. And it never crossed below 40 for a year and a half until this past month. And now it's down in the low 30s. So it is definitely fallen back down. My problem from the start, guys, the reason I've never bought it or sold it is because I don't know their earnings. I don't know what the value of the stock is, and they've had very limited earnings. And they even say it's going to be a couple years until they make money in some states still because they're plugging so much in to marketing and player acquisition. So that's a real concern for me. Not a stock I trade, but big picture takeaway is, look, if I'm running a sports book, I don't want my action. I don't want your action, Teddy. I don't want your action, Prez. So, I don't disagree. It's a business. They want my sports bettor. Well, I was going to say, as a bookmaker, I think ideally bookmakers should take all action and balance the book. But, most don't do that. And that's just the reality of the situation. I don't like it, but I wouldn't want my action either.
Well, there's two key points here. One is that as long as we still have sports books that take, and not one, as long as we still have multiple books that are going to take action from winning bettors. And we have that in Vegas. That's not an issue. You have the South Point, you have the Circa, you have the Westgate. There are, there are books that you can get bets down on even as a wise guy, without issues in this town. That's not the case elsewhere. And I got a quote from Robbins talking about how rival operators, WinBet, has cut their marketing spend. All right.
Right.
DraftKings is spending a ton on marketing right now. Quote from Robbins: "We're still seeing very high lifetime values. In DFS, it took 3 or 4 years before we took before we saw a drop off in LTV, certainly by year 5. As we adjusted customer acquisition costs accordingly, I think you'll see the same thing here." So they still think every customer they get at this stage is worth a ton in terms of long-term value. That's not likely to be the case 2 and 3 and 5 years from now. So, Prez, what you said about the marketing costs decreasing over time, Robbins just said it right there, echoing your thoughts.
Yeah, and Teddy, just to let you know, the average DraftKings style customer is worth roughly $1,100 a year to them, give or take. I mean, that's not exact for them specific, but that's somewhere around the average for that type of customer. They're spending close to that to obtain that customer right now. Right. 2-3 years from now, it's going to cost them about $150 to achieve an $1,100 a year value customer. And that is why the stock to me is a buy. I agree, Steve. I don't think it's bottomed out yet either. With that said, I can't play the game where I'm waiting to buy at the absolute lowest number that you
That's
can
right. Yeah, you're never going to catch
get.
the apps. Right. I'd wait for it to turn, though. I'd wait for it to turn and tick a couple points higher. You're never going to get the bottom, but it could go down another $10.
Yeah, I accept that, but I will tell you, I think Flutter's the better buy right now, only because the stock has just been decimated in the last couple of weeks, whereas the DraftKings stock, although much lower percentage-wise, is just not. I mean, Flutter is like next level decimation, and one of our listeners writes in the chat room, just wait till all 50 states are legalized. And that's ultimately the point, because building the sports book costs a lot of money. Getting the marketing process in place costs a lot of money. Executing costs a lot of money. All of this stuff costs a lot of money. But once they roll out the new states one after another, the foundation, the core, the capital expenditure will not be the same per each state. Every state they launch into, it will ultimately, from an amortization perspective, lower their capital expenditure.
Sure, you're creating an economy of scale.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So those are my thoughts.
Some hoops.
Yeah, that's what, dude, it's like you're in my head. Anyway, just really, really quick, everybody, I want to apologize. I lost my 5% play in NBA. It was on the same big game breakdown play that Teddy gave out yesterday. The under in the Brooklyn game. Man, oh man, and it even gotten close at the end. I thought, no time did I think we were going to win that play, especially the last 2 minutes of the second quarter, the last 3 minutes of the second quarter. They averaged 7.5 points a minute. Nothing went right, and I'm so deeply sorry. Steve and Teddy, I know this is your segment, Steve, but I got to ask you, I've been handicapping for 30 years. 16-0 is the highest streak I've ever had in my life. Teddy, Steve, what are yours? Teddy first.
I don't know. I don't know that I've beaten 6. What did I do in baseball last year? I don't remember, dude. I think I won. I don't remember how many I won. It was in that range. But honestly, Steve? Prez, I don't know.
No, I'm laughing because it's Groundhog's Day. We've had this conversation once or twice, and Teddy's answer is always like, I don't remember. It doesn't matter. And then I always say, I think I had a 19-0 baseball run. Teddy had a 42-10 baseball run. I remember years back when you were doing those totals, Teddy. And then we always close with Marco D'Angelo won 26 straight, and Prez is trying to catch him.
Firstly, Marco won 25 straight. Secondly, we're not discussing Marco. And thirdly, Andrew McGinnis won again last night, 16-0 NHL run, guys. So I know it's your segment, Steve, but very rarely do we have anybody at WagerTalk that has won 16 straight games. Guys, check that out. Steve Villanova, last night you put the line up minus 16.5.
Yeah. I knew that was going to happen.
It's at 18 now, brother. Where are we going?
Yeah, and I almost put a disclaimer. It's like the theme of when I'm on every Wednesday is I find these games, which they honestly are that line when I release them at midnight when I send them over to you, and they steam higher. And this one is not a surprise, and saw some leading indicator offshores that we were talking about that still accept sharp action. And they were already at 17 last night, and some of the smaller books were 16.5. But this is even higher than I thought it would be today. Villanova is now 18 in most spots, 17.5 in some spots still. It's the only way I would play it is to lay it with Villanova. It's still not high enough, and that's why the line is climbing. It's a total mismatch here. Pennsylvania has been a dog of 8 or more in 5 different games this year. They've lost all of them. They've gone 1-4 against the spread. The only time they covered was a 16-point loss in their last game Sunday against Arkansas as a 19-point dog. Villanova is a really good defensive team. They play at one of the absolute slowest paces in the country. Think of like Virginia half-court defense here with Villanova. They have lost a couple games this year, but they were a dog in both those games at UCLA in overtime against a number 2 ranked UCLA team at the time, and then against Purdue on a neutral court. And Purdue right now is a top 4 team in my power ratings as well. They bounced back strong against LaSalle this past Sunday with a 26-point win as an 18.5-point favorite. And that game correlates really closely to tonight's game because, first of all, LaSalle is an in-city Philadelphia Power 5 team. The game was played in the Palestra, where all these Philly games are played, and that's where tonight's game is because that's Penn's home court. So Villanova has actually played in this arena more recently than Penn has on their own home court. So there won't be too much of a disadvantage, the in-city rivalry. The last time these teams played in Penn back 3 years ago, Penn won the game. Villanova got their revenge a year later. But they're not going to overlook them for that reason. And then on top of that, the Ivy League did not play basketball last year. People forget that. So this is only Penn's 10th game in the past 2 years. They're just 3-6 this year. As I mentioned, they're 0-5 when getting 8 points or more against better teams. And I just don't think it's a good matchup for Penn here. When you're laying a big number here, you want motivation, whether it be college football, college basketball. I think we have plenty of motivation for Villanova to win against an in-city rival tonight. And I just don't think Penn's going to be able to keep up. Villanova, lay it if you're going to play it.
So I'm certainly not going to ask Penn to win this one straight up, but you dared me before the show to make a case for Penn. And the simplest case that I have is series history, man. These two teams play every year, or close to every year. It's a rivalry game, at least on the Penn side it is. And plus 13 last time they played, they lose by 11. Plus 7 the time before that, they win the game straight up. 4 of the last 6 for Penn, covering numbers against Nova. So the series history certainly pointing towards the Quakers' ability to hang, I'm not going to say hang tough, but hang around in this game. Does that concern you at all for the Villanova side tonight?
Yeah, Teddy, I was curious to see what case you can make, and the only one I figured you might do is the rival dog angle. So that's kind of what I thought you would say. And that, like I said earlier, that normally would be a concern. But the fact that Villanova did lose here last time they played at Penn, I know they got the revenge in 19, but that was actually a close game also, as you mentioned. And I know it's different players, but I'm sure they're going to bring that up. But I don't think this is the same Penn team. That's my big takeaway. My response to that is that this isn't the Penn team that's always contending for the Ivy title. In fact, when they beat Villanova back in 2018, they won this Power 5 or whatever they call it, the Philadelphia series. That's not the case now. They're not nearly that good, and they didn't play at all last year. So I just don't think they have the horses to pull the upset or keep it close this year.
Steve Merril joining us, everybody. WagerTalk.com, one of the best betting analysts you'll ever hear in your life. Steve, you got a promo up. 3 days of all sports for only $49. The promo code is Steve49. You got two 5% plays for this Sunday in the NFL. I have 2 5% plays for this week in the NFL too. My first time ever with 2 5% plays in the same week. You as well. And your basketball, 31-14 this season. This is outstanding, bro.
Yeah, we talk about hot streaks. I mean, last year I started college hoops 25-7 the first 2 months. This year, college hoops hitting almost 80%. NBA's been great too, though. Combined 31-14 all basketball this first month.
Wow.
You get the next 3 days for $49. I mean, normally 1 day is $39. Get 3 days for $49. And as you mentioned, I do have 2 5% NFL plays. It's the first time ever at WagerTalk.com I've had 2 5% plays in any sport on the same day. let alone the NFL on Sunday. So, once again, I'm making they're 35 each, a 2-pack for 39, or once again, get 3 days for 49. But you must have promo code STEVE49, STEVE 49, STEVE49. And don't forget, you could choose the 3 days. You could choose when you want to start that package. So if you want the Sunday plays, you can sign up right now, choose Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and get in before those lines move. If you want some college hoops the next 3 nights, along with NBA 31 and 14, choose the next 3 days, or get a couple 3-day packages. Do it for 98. Get a 6-day for 98. Steve 49 is the only way to do it. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.
Calm down.
How do you like that math?
Down. Calm down.
Math.
Okay, so I just went and looked at your 5% plays. Guys, if we get 200 likes, I'm giving them both out for free.
You're a bastard.
I'm kidding. Okay, bro. Minnesota Vikings -7. This line has not moved at all against the Detroit Lions. I wouldn't be surprised if the Detroit Lions win this game. I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota annihilates them.
Right.
I got nothing. What are you doing in this one?
And look, normally I don't play against winless teams this late in the season because normally you get tremendous value. And in fact, on the blind for like 3 decades now, playing winless teams after a month or so has been a winning record against the spread. So, you're bucking history laying it here, but it's still the only way I would play this one. And by the way, it hasn't moved this week, but the look-ahead line, Prez, a week ago before the Thanksgiving games was going to be 7.5. So it is a little bit lower, and obviously 7 is an extremely key number. And what's fascinating to me about the Lions is I do the Fade the Public video every week in the NFL. By the way, 2-0 again last week. It is just red hot, 13-4 the last 5 weeks. Last year, 31-7 late November when I started it. So check that out this weekend, Fade the Public here on WagerTalk TV. But the Lions, surprisingly, have been a public play a few times this season as an underdog. So for some reason, the public isn't fading them that hard. And I think we actually get some value here at -7 or less with the Vikings. Obviously, the superior team. Very difficult scheduling spot last week. I actually had my free play of the week on my page, SteveMerrillWagerTalk.com, on the 49ers last Sunday. It was a game that was the last cut for my best bet card. I thought it was a bad spot for Minnesota. We talked about it here Friday, you, myself, and Adam Trigger here on this show. And Minnesota, I think, does bounce back after those wins against the Chargers and Packers. Let down spot last week. They don't let down this week against the division rival on the road. They're 5-6. They're not out of the mix, even at 5-6. And the only way I would play this one is Minnesota. Detroit is not a good team. They're 0-10 for a reason.
Well, I mean, there's no argument with that. But the last time the Vikings won a game by more than a touchdown was in September. Yeah. They've played everybody close. And it's not like the Lions are laying down. Their last 3 games have been a tie, a 3-point loss, and a 2-point loss. Talk about Minnesota struggles to win by margin and why you're not concerned about that here.
Definitely concerned about it. I mean, there's, like I said, I can make a case for it against every game. I had trouble with the Penn Villanova game, but that rival dog was the only one I could make. But in this one, I do think if you look at the scores, it's concerning, but I think it's misleading as well because Detroit's not a good team. They've been outscored by 10.5 points per game this year. So, yeah, I mean, they've played some close games, but on average, they lose by 10.5 points a game, and they have a terrible passing attack. And as we talk about in college football a lot, you don't want to try to get those backdoor coverage with teams that can't throw the ball. So it's really surprising to me that they're 7-4 against the spread. And I think because of that, we get some value now, fading them at 7 or less. They're the team that doesn't throw the ball well. Minnesota gets up here, which I think they will. I don't think Detroit backdoors them.
So Minnesota is 5-6. They're still in the mix, and Detroit will be their fix. Terrible. Freaking brutal. It's like I'm Dr. Seuss. What can I tell you? Dr. Prez. Steve, we've promoted you. Is there anything left for you to say?
No, just check out Steve49, WagerTalk.com. 3 days, $49 whenever you want to start. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Must have promo code Steve49.
Get out of here, guys. Quick break. Carmine Bianco, Teddy's Big Game Breakdown, Art DiCesare, and of course the daily presidential address where I will be giving all 4 of my client plays out. So stay with us.
First, we at WagerTalk would like to thank everyone as a record number of you took advantage of our Thanksgiving 7-day special. We hope you enjoyed the convenience of getting your favorite handicappers plays daily during the hectic holiday weekend, and we also know that December can be a crazy month. Now we are offering a rest of calendar year special. Get every NFL, college bowl game, NBA, NHL, college basketball games, and all other sports of your favorite handicapper through December 31st for only $249. The early bird really does catch a worm for this special as it starts the day you sign up. No coupon needed. Pay only $249 today or pay $249 in a few days. The choice is simple. Let's have a great ending to 2021.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk Friday night college football championship game action. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, Conference USA championship game. I'm seeing Western Kentucky minus 2.5. There are a couple of threes that have popped up. Total sitting in the 72.5 range, and it looks like that total is going to go higher. If you like the over, and I do, I would bet that sooner rather than later. Look, these two teams met already once this year, 52 to 46. Zappy threw 500 yards and 5 touchdown passes, but UTSA with Frank Harris, threw for 349 yards and 6 touchdown passes in that ball games. And look, this is a Hilltopper offense. They all came from Houston Baptist together. The coordinators, Zach Kitley, the quarterback, Bailey Zappa, the wide receiver, Jarrett Stearns, who has 127 catches for 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns. So there's continuity with the offense for Western Kentucky, even though they're all playing for a new team. Jeff Traylor, UTSA head coach, quote, "We don't know how to stop them. Nobody does. If you have a good idea, let me know. No one else has got any that work so far." I don't think the Roadrunner is going to shut down Western Kentucky. No one shut down Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky has done that against good defenses. And UTSA, it's an okay defense, but it's certainly not one of the best ones that Western Kentucky has faced. Remember, their non-conference slate wasn't easy. The question here is whether the UTSA is going to be able to trade points with them. And Western Kentucky certainly has put up better defensive numbers down the stretch. When you look at that first meeting, when you look at what UTSA has been able to do over the course of the season, and when you look at the fact that Western Kentucky's prowess defensively down the stretch largely came against weak offensive foes, I'm expecting exactly what we saw in the first game again in the second game. I don't think we see stops. I think we see plenty of big plays in this one. And I'm looking at the over 72.5. And again, so are the markets. We've seen nothing but over money today. If you like this over, bet it sooner rather than later. But we will look for the CUSA championship game on Friday night to get up and over the total. And there's your big game break. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy covers outstanding work. I actually have a free pick going up on that very game later on. Carmine Bianco joining us, and Carm, twice already today. We did puck time together. That was freaking outstanding. I thought I was on fire. I enjoyed every moment of listening to me. As well, we are seeing each other tonight. We're going to the Leaf game. Very exciting. Very, very exciting. That's Carmine, everybody. Art DiCesare joining us. Carm, outstanding work, dude. I mean, you absolutely killed it on the show.
You take up all the words, man. You leave hardly any time for your guest cappers, but glad to be here. Looking forward to tonight's game. You're driving, so that's even better. And you're buying dinner, which
when
is even better.
When have you ever driven? You have never driven me anywhere in your life. Anyway, let's get into this, dude.
So anyways,
Yeah. Philadelphia Flyers, losers of, I think, 6 in a row right now, playing a red-hot New York Rangers team, winners of 7 of 8, and I think 3 in a row. Just a total mismatch as far as I'm concerned. Rangers, one of the best teams in the league. Philadelphia, complete mess. As Dave Koken would say, kind of hot. Not having a good run right now. With all that said, it's minus 200 for the Rangers, and I like the under in this game, bro. How you betting it?
Yeah, I think that's the only way you can approach it. I like the Rangers. I tipped them to win the Metro. I think they're one of the best teams in the league right now. They're 13-3-4 and playing well. And this Philadelphia team is the exact opposite. Like you said, 6 games in a row. But if you can take anything away from that 6-game losing streak, is that they played Tampa Bay twice, Florida, Boston, and Carolina. Those are the some of the top teams in the NHL right now. But it doesn't get any easier against this Rangers team. Shesterkin's likely going to be the starter in net tonight, which is why I would lean to the under here. He's 11-3 into 2.22 goals against average, but he's allowed in 14 games, he's allowed 3 or fewer goals. In 10 of those 14, 2 or fewer. So he's winning games for them when you don't need a lot of goal production from this Rangers team. And then you got Philadelphia. Carter Hart is scheduled to. He is confirmed for tonight. He started pretty good, but he struggled his last 3 games or so. But again, you get these division rivals playing against each other. Usually they're tighter games. That's why I'm leaning to the under here. Flyers 7-3, their last 10 on the road to the under. So under here for me.
Well, I don't even know if Vancouver and Ottawa are in the same division, but I know they're in the same country. A matchup between 2 Canadians.
They're not even in the same conference.
And the Ottawa Senators. Right now, I'm seeing Vancouver about minus 125. Couple books a little bit lower on the Canucks in this one. Total of 5.5. What are we doing? Vancouver and Ottawa.
Yeah, they're two teams that aren't very good, Teddy. The one thing I like to do a lot of the time is I will fade a team returning home off a Western road trip. The Leafs are in that position tonight against Colorado, but Ottawa is in that position. They had a slew of games canceled because of COVID. Went out west, played 4 games, and just were embarrassed in pretty much each one of them: 7-5, 6-3, 4-0, and 4-2. Now they return home against a Vancouver team. The only good thing might be the fact that this Vancouver team isn't scoring a lot of goals. They're only averaging 1.5 goals over their last 8 games. They aren't scoring, but they are still a talented team. And at the end of the day, I think you pick the better of the 2 teams. Demko hasn't looked good of late, but his last game was a sharp one. So maybe that's a sign that, at least from a goaltending point of view, they'll be better tonight. Ottawa doesn't know what they're doing. They originally named Forsberg in net tonight. He's terrible. It looks like they're going to switch to Gustafsson, and he's allowed 23 goals in his last 6 games. Everyone on Ottawa is allowing goals. I don't think it's a good spot for them. Short price on Vancouver, minus 125. I think that's the play here.
Couldn't agree with you more, Carmine Bianco. Outstanding work. We'll see you tonight at the Leaf game. I'll be wearing my shirt. Do you need me to bring you one? I got an extra Leaf shirt. You want one?
No, it's okay. You'd be lucky if you don't get mustard on that shirt. So we'll see.
Okay. Carmine Bianco, everyone. What a show. Hope you guys are enjoying Wager Talk today. I see my friend Chucky is back. We love you, Chuck. Okay, Teddy, Art DiCesare joining us. I'm excited to have the guy. We're just waiting on him. So before we get into that, dude, will you be playing on the Thursday night football game?
I have not released a play on the game yet. I'm still determining if I'm going to do that. It is not a definitive pass or no pass. What about you?
Yeah, I'm likely not going to play on it. I think Dallas first half is the play. But I'm not going to get to the window at all. Let's ask Art what type of action he's taking, because this is a sexy game. I mean, these are two quality teams. Dallas with an army of bettors behind them. Is Art DiCesare ready? Woohoo! Art, Thursday night football. Let's start right there, and then we'll get into the pleasantries.
Yeah, Thursday night football. Interesting. Ton of injuries. So it's, people, if they like Dallas, they got to look at that injury card. If they like New Orleans, they got to look at that injury card. It was Cowboys basically -6. Now it's 4.5. I mean, we're going to need Dallas, I'm sure. Need New Orleans, because it's just, people always bet the Cowboys. It's just the way it is. New Orleans has not been good. People are probably going to look to take the Cowboys off the loss. Obviously, both teams are not on the short kind of weeks because they both played on Thanksgiving, so they get the normal type of rest. But right now, because of the injuries, it's been a little bit lower of a volume than you would see for Thursday coming in. But the tickets will start pouring in tonight and tomorrow. But right now, we're going to need the Saints.
Art DiCesare joining us, everyone. Westgate Superbook supervisor, a great friend of Wager Talk, and a man who makes women quake when he walks. Art, I made that last part up. Listen, I want to ask you a sportsbook question, and then I'll hand the mic over to Teddy. I'm curious where the Westgate sits. We had DraftKings come out yesterday saying we don't want anybody who wins. If you're a losing bettor, we're your place. Then you have other books off, the global market, if you will, that are happy to take as much wise guy action as they can. And then there's books somewhere in the middle. 2 questions. 1, where would you place Westgate? And 2, when you're looking at a game, say Philadelphia Giants last week, and everybody's got -4 except a couple of books that are very sharp, have -3, 3.5. Are you at the Westgate looking at that? Do you care? So there you go. Those are my 2 questions.
Well, the second question, do we care about the other markets? Of course. I mean, we're going to look at them, but our guys are still going to do their due diligence and do what they do. And, they're going to follow their numbers. So, yeah, they are peeking at other lines and looking at other markets. But, we stick to what we do at the Westgate, and we can only control what we do. So I'll take that as, we're the Westgate. We do what we do. And I'll say this, as far as the DraftKings thing goes, it was a very interesting comment, but I think Teddy said it perfectly at the beginning of the show. I heard him. In Vegas, there are places, us included at the Westgate, Circa, South Point, we're not afraid to take action. We're not afraid to take quote-unquote wise guy or sharp guy action. It's just, that's the way it's always been. I've been in Vegas basically 10 years, and that's always been the case for those type of books. There are going to be other books that just don't do that. And, they're going to cater to the public. They're going to cater to the weekend warrior who's in town and going to lay a couple bucks down, and they want no part of the sharp action, and that's fine. That's their space. So I think there's spaces for both. I just don't think we fall into that category. We fall into a category where we take all action. We welcome all action. And, I remember we've talked to everyone's scared. Vegas is losing their mojo. Vegas had $1 billion handle this month, last month. So Vegas is not losing its mojo. I think Vegas is only gaining its mojo because people recognize these other states are way behind on what we've been doing for years.
Sure. The $1 billion month was on my what did bettors learn for like the last 2 days, and I haven't been able to get to it because there's been too much other industry news to talk about. But let's forget about industry news for a minute. Let's talk about games. Let's talk about actionable information for our viewers. And let's start in hoops for tonight. Have you seen, let's talk a little college basketball. Are there any teams that are particularly hot in the early season college basketball betting markets? And is there anything that you're seeing for tonight where wise guys have taken a strong opinion on a college basketball side or total?
Teddy, the one thing that I have noticed, and it actually works towards what we saw this week in the Big Ten ACC Challenge, people have loved the Big Ten teams early in the season. And the Big Ten has basically flexed their muscle so far in this challenge. I mean, they're just the best conference in the country. Obviously, the ACC is pretty good, but the Big Ten has shown how good they are. Obviously, a big matchup in that conference challenge tonight is Michigan going to North Carolina. Michigan was -1.5. It's now 2.5. So, money coming in on Michigan. Money is coming in on these Big Ten teams. You throw Michigan out there, and you throw Purdue out there, and you throw Illinois out there. I mean, those are 3 of the best 7 or 8 teams in the country. So the Big Ten has seen a lot of action, and they've seen a lot of action in this challenge so far, and nothing has changed tonight.
Let's stay in the college mindset and talk about college football. Obviously, championship weekend this weekend in college football, games on Friday night and on Saturday. Not like last weekend where every single D1 team played, but nonetheless compelling matchups this week. The two that stand out to me, obviously Michigan, Iowa attracted a lot of attention. Alabama and Georgia attracting a lot of attention. Talk about those two games and anything else that stands out for you when it comes to college football early week action at the Westgate Super.
Absolutely. Championship weekend. Big weekend. Obviously, after this weekend, we're going to know who's the Final Four. The Michigan-Iowa game is interesting. It's basically sat at 11 this whole time. I mean, it moved to 10.5 for a little bit. Low total, we got 43.5. So normally when people see a low total, they like, it's going to be a low-scoring game. Let me take the points and run. So Iowa has been a pretty popular bet. I don't know how many people are going to come in and want to lay that number with Michigan, even though Michigan's been good against the number. They come off, obviously, their biggest win in program history in a long time. So Iowa money so far. The Georgia game, we opened that game like a week or two ago, and we had Georgia -4. When Alabama started playing last week and basically didn't play well, it started to move. It was at 6. It's now 6.5. This is one of the rare times we'll probably need Alabama. The total has seen a lot of move. Even though the total's only moved a point from 50.5 to 49.5, there's been a lot of under money on that total. So you've seen that come in. And another one just to jump in on is the Big 12 championship game. These two have played, Oklahoma State and Baylor. Obviously, Oklahoma State still got a lot to play for, but a lot of Baylor money coming in. It was 6.5, now 5.5. So you've seen early Baylor money come in on that Big 12 championship game.
Art DiCesare, supervisor over at the Westgate Superbook at ArtDice21. He is an excellent follow on Twitter. I'll let Lawrence talk NFL. I'll ask you NBA right here. What are we seeing in the association in terms of big moves, wise guy action, something actionable for Wednesday night hoops?
Sure, Teddy. The one game to throw out there is Cavs at Heat. He'd have a lot of injury concerns. Bam's on that injury report. Hero's on that injury report. Butler's on that injury report. It's Cavs at Heat. It was 6. It's now 4.5. Cavs have been great against the number this year. Pretty good team. They're 11-10, but they're like 14-6, 14-7 against the spread. So with the injury concerns and the way the Cavs have been against the number, early Cav money coming in, move the spread 1.5.
Art DiCesare joining us, everyone, in Art NFL time. Really looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Should I single out some games? You want to talk in general? Talk in general. What are you seeing out there? Who's taking the money? Who's not? Any bets that we should make, et cetera, et cetera?
The two Sunday games you want to touch on, Prez, that have kind of seen some moves and have seen public and sharp action. Bengals have been very popular this week. That was basically a 1.5 look-ahead line. Bengals are at home against a Chargers team who's struggling. Bengals are on the trajectory up. Game's sitting at 3 right now, so basically nothing but Bengal money. Interesting game. Seattle at home on a short week. They get the Niners coming in. Niners have played better. Basically, that line was Seattle -1. We had a look-ahead opening line. It's now 3.5. It's been nothing but San Francisco money. Seattle's been terrible. They just have not been good. Niners have not been a great favorite, which is interesting, but people are not afraid of money right now, and it's gotten over the 3 to 3.5. Then obviously the biggest game of the week is the Monday night game. Obviously the Patriots are going to be an extremely popular underdog. They're getting the 3 points. Be interested to see if that number moves off the 3. I don't think it will. But it's been nothing but Patriot money early. I think some people might come in and look to take the Bills, but Patriots are the hottest team in the NFL, so they've attracted a lot of bets so far. I'm not surprised by that.
Art, firstly, there's 2.5s all over the board for Buffalo, so we've already seen the move off of 3. Secondly, I know you guys are out there. One guy's Prez for Prime Minister, Prez for President. Guys, Prez for General Secretary of the UN. Come on, man. I want to rule the world, not a country. Anyway, Art DiCesare, I'm throwing games at you. You're going to tell me something quick because people want to know. They're asking in the chat room, Vegas, Washington. What are you seeing? What do you like? 10 seconds.
Vegas money always, but I think the Redskins are playing better. I like Washington.
Tampa Bay, Atlanta.
It's a big number, divisional game. People have taken the Falcons at home. Tampa hasn't been good on the road.
And what about the Cincinnati Chargers game? A lot of people are talking about that one.
Yeah,
You
that's a
already
game I
broke
just
that
touched
down
on.
for us.
Nothing but Bengal money. Yep.
You think I listen? I'm
Clearly, you
not
don't.
known for my listening skills.
No
I
shit.
admit it. I'm having a sub for lunch today. I'm focused on that. Art DiCesare, anything in hockey, and then we'll get you out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Prez, what a game to go to, man. That's actually one of the things I had written down. You know, that Leaf Avs game, sitting at 6, juiced to the over at -120. Toronto's been a good under team, but that Colorado machine on the over, they're 8-1-1 in their last 10 to the over. I mean, their over is incredible. So be interesting to see what happens in that game tonight. I kind of like the over a little bit, I guess, because Toronto's coming home after the break, and Colorado's been crazy to their overs. And Vegas going to Anaheim, 15-cent move, -145 to -160. Nothing but Vegas money so far.
Yeah, no, I love it. And you know what, dude? I think it's a bad spot for the Leafs, flat out. Coming home off of a perfect road trip out west. And it's tough,
2
man.
losses in November.
Jack Campbell, brother, 13-2 to the under, I think, in this last 15. And you're right, Colorado can't go under if they played 4 guys.
No.
Tough game to handicap. It will be great to watch. I don't even know where our tickets are. Hopefully, when Carm's taking me to a game, he recognizes that I am the freaking Prez. Art DiCesare, everyone. Westgate Sportsbook supervisor, friend of the show, and just all-around awesome guy. Thanks for joining us. What do you have to promote quick?
Thanks for having me on, gentlemen. As always, it's always a blast to come on Wednesday mornings with you guys. Tomorrow, reduced juice. Come in Thursdays, midday, 2, 3 o'clock. You get -105 on sides, no totals. That's college football and the NFL. So it's just a great thing. Save yourself a little bit of coin, and then come in and sign up for our app. If you need any help, you come talk to me. I'm always there, always available to get you set up with whatever you need. Seats, drink tickets, the app, reduced juice. I'm there. You just come for Arthur DiCesare, and I'm more than happy to help anyone who comes in.
Awesome stuff. Outstanding work. Let's go. It's time for the daily presidential address. Awesome stuff. What a show. Unbelievable show at WagerTalk today. Steve Merril was phenomenal. Carmine Bianco, Art DiCesare. Check it out. Teddy's big game breakdown. And you know what? We did not have one thumbs down this entire show. Competitors out there, wake up, man. We're missing you. Get on our show. Hit thumbs down. Come on. Anyway, like I said at the top of the show, I am giving out my entire NHL card for free right here, right now. I am betting 5 NHL plays tonight. It is the largest NHL card I've had all year. And on a night where there's like 6 games. It's just totally random. So here are all 5 plays. No need to go to WagerTalk and buy my client plays. Here they are. We're going to go with Vegas Golden Knights in regulation at +115. Art DiCesare was on the show, said they're taking nothing but Vegas money over at the Westgate. I couldn't agree more. Everybody's back from injury, and I think Anaheim is a fade team. I also like over the total in the Vegas game, 5.5. Backup goalie in Anaheim. We're going to see a lot of goals scored, plus Anaheim is putting the puck in the net as well. I like the Edmonton Oilers -130 against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Like Carmine said, Vancouver Canucks tonight, guys. They're playing Ottawa. Ottawa doesn't even know if they're going to have a goalie. Ottawa, take Vancouver -125. And I like under the total in the Philadelphia New York Rangers game. So to sum up, Vegas in regulation, Vegas over, Edmonton Oilers, Vancouver Canucks, and the under in the Flyers game. Those are my client plays. They're yours for free. As I said, I got a sub waiting for me upstairs, and I am bloody hungry. Teddy, take us home.
That's going to wrap it for the Wednesday edition of WagerTalk Today. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll do it again tomorrow. Please join us again, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon for you back east. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck.
First, we at WagerTalk would like to thank everyone as a record number of you took advantage of our Thanksgiving 7-day special. We hope you enjoyed the convenience of getting your favorite handicappers plays daily during the hectic holiday weekend, and we also know that December can be a crazy month. Now we are offering a rest of calendar year special. Get every NFL, college bowl game, NBA, NHL, college basketball games, and all other sports of your favorite handicapper through December 31st for only $249. The early bird really does catch a worm for this special as it starts the day you sign up. No coupon needed. Pay only $249 today or pay $249 in a few days. The choice is simple. Let's have a great ending to 2021.